So this woman went to work as her usual routine and came back home, but the next thing heard of her was a brutalized body discovered by her neighbor. Her name was Brenda and she worked as a scientist in the genetic department at the University of Scotland. While studying in the University of Glasgow, she met this man called Christopher, who was a graduate of Cambridge, and fell in love with him. The two got married in 1972, and the following year, Brenda got employed in the genetic department of Aberdeen University in Scotland. What started as a happy marriage soon turned sour and was filled with domestic abuse, which had sent Brenda to the hospital more than once. The toxic relationship continued between these two until one day, Christopher, on coming back home from work, asked Brenda to leave the house, her matrimonial home. Devastated, Brenda left Christopher, and this led to their separation, after which she got herself a new apartment near the Aberdeen city centre in 1976. In 1977, the separated couple eventually divorced, with Brenda claiming she had suffered various forms of abuse in Christopher's hand throughout their union. After the divorce, Christopher never stopped bothering Brenda and even on some occasions threatened to kill her. This forced Brenda to force out and take legal action against him. She got a restraining order to keep Christopher away from seeing her as a result of his aggressive, threatening and violent behavior. The news of Christopher dealing with Brenda reached the university where they both worked, getting him not only fired from work but also banned from stepping on the university grounds. One day, Brenda returned from work and went for a meal with a couple of guys. She stayed with them till about 2:30 in the midnight, after which she drove herself back home and went straight to bed. The following day, Brenda, who was known at work for her punctuality and professionalism, was never seen at work. Her colleagues got worried and one of them tried to contact her but to no available. Sensing something not feeling right, one of the colleagues reached out to one of Brenda's neighbors to help check on Brenda. When the neighbor got to Brenda's door, she knocked several times but got no response. The neighbor became worried. They opened the door and found the house silent. The neighbor started calling Brenda's name, hoping to get a response, which she did not. So she went to check Brenda in her room and found her lying in her bed, cold-dead. Scared and not knowing what to do, the neighbor called the police. When the police arrived, they took Brenda's bodies for autopsy and proper examination. The police, while examining Brenda's house, observed there was no sign of forced entry except the bedroom window, which had been pried open. This made them suspect that the murderer had broken into her room. The police also noticed tiny flakes of paint on the window, and semen samples were also discovered on her bed. During the autopsy, Brenda was discovered to have injuries in her hands and wrists. Her face was also found bruised. Further examination revealed that Brenda had tried to defend herself while her killer was beating her. The result also revealed that Brenda had been struck on the face at least 20 times with a blunt heavy object. The police arrested Christopher as the prime suspect and interrogated him about his connection with Brenda's murder. He denied the accusation and even released a statement 6 days after the murder, hoping her killer would soon be found. Without enough evidence, Christopher was released from custody. He moved to Lenderland, where he lived freely, and the case was closed. However, 40 years later, with the aid of advanced technology, the police discovered that the paint flakes found on Brenda's window matched the one that was in Christopher's car, while the semen sample also belonged to him. Some years after Brenda's murder, Christopher, who thought he had escaped justice, returned to Aberdeen. In the year 2015, which was about 35 years after the murder, the case was reopened. The home which Christopher formerly shared with his ex-wife Brenda was re-examined, and the paint flakes and semen sample were traced back to him. Upon this discovery, the police arrested Christopher in 2020 and he was charged to court. Christopher pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced to life in prison for Brenda's murder without parole for 20 years. Meanwhile, Christopher was 82 years old at the time of his confession. In all this, what I couldn't stop wondering was what could have triggered an old case to be reopened 35 years later and the culprit eventually jailed 40 years after committing his crime. And if you are in a relationship with a toxic partner, try to separate yourself from them. If your life is threatened in any way, do not hesitate to report it to the police immediately. Always stay alert because life has no second chance. If you are watching this channel for the first time, please subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share this video. Thanks.